Hey guys, thanks for stopping by for another video. You know, there's been a lot of really cool things that have come out over the last several weeks. We had Black Friday deals, Cyber Monday deals, now we've got Christmas deals. I'm talking about plugins. And one of the newest plugins that has come out, which kind of caught my attention, is the CLA Epic from Waves. Now, you've probably seen this on YouTube already. If you haven't, go check it out. What it is it's a plugin that kind of emulates the way that Chris sets up his console, where he's got 4 different delays and 4 reverbs, and how he can use buses and subgroups and matrices on his console to route those delays to the reverbs and so on and so forth. So they made a plugin that does that kind of emulates his mode of operation, if you will. So I want to show you in Pro Tools what it would take to emulate this setup and all the auxes that you have to create and the routing that you would have to do in order to get this effect and this setup style. And then I think we need to talk about whether it's worth getting the CLA Epic plugin or not. So we'll dive into that and we'll talk about that right now. All right, so what I did was I brought up my mix template that I typically, have, and I use to import settings from my mix template when I'm working on a mix. So just to get all this junk out of the way, let's hide that stuff. And now we're talking about just dealing with this. So first, let me show you what I've got. I've got a drum loop, a clean guitar thing, and a saxophone solo. I just brought these in as from some sample library that I have, just so we can kind of go through and see what this effect sounds like on drums, on guitar, and on saxophone. That'll be kind of a good, kind of like it would maybe sound on a vocal. But anyways, then I created these 8 aux channels stereo to emulate the CLA Epic. So I've got my 4 delays. I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I've got the A, B, C, and D. And as you can see down here, hopefully you can see that the number 1 is the tape delay, number 2 is the throw delay, number 3 is the slap delay, number 4 is the crowd. Then the first reverb is the plate, then the room, then the hall, and then the space. Okay, so I've got them all muted. Now I had to create some buses, so I just want to walk you through how you would need to set this up. Of the 8 stereo aux tracks, their inputs are as follows: input bus 1 and 2 all the way through 15 and 16. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, and down the line, 9, 10 through 15 and 16. Now, what that means is I then also need to send my 4 delays to the 4 reverbs and route them that way, which I've done here on these sends. So I'm sending the tape to 9 through 16, the throw, the slap, and the crowd, all through 9 through 16. And right now, it's inactive, the send is inactive, so it's like they're muted. And then I can hold command and click on it to unmute it, and now I'd be sending the crowd to the space. Makes sense? Hopefully. Then you got to come over here to your track. This is the drum track and the guitar and the sax, and you've got to send it to all 8 stereo sends. So bus 1 and 2 all the way through bus 15 and 16. These are all set to be post fader sends. All of the delays are post fader sends to the reverbs, but we might have to make those pre-fader sends in certain cases to emulate what the routing is like in the CLA Epic. So let's let you hear the drums. Here's what the drums sound like. Okay, just kind of a normal drum loop drum, whatever part, I mean, I can hear, this is a produced, sample, so I can hear a little bit of room, but this is one of the drier ones I could find. So now we're just gonna go through and let's start opening up our pseudo CLA Epic, and we'll start with the tape. So I'm just gonna let this play. I'm gonna bring up the tape. Okay, here's the throw. That's it, throwing. Okay, here's the slap. Okay, and then the crowd. Okay, then the plate. The room. Then the hall. And finally the space. Okay, and I've got that set up as non-linear. I'm sure you're wondering, well, what are you using for these 8 sounds? Well, I'll show you. And I've used stuff that comes free with Pro Tools. So I'm not using anything from Waves, I'm not using anything from Slate, just free stuff that comes with Pro Tools. When you have a subscription or anything like that, these plugins are made available to you that you can download and install for free, included with your subscription. The first tape delay is just our standard mod delay. Now, here's how you can get the offset that the CLA Epic has. Is this has a groove. So what I did was I did a +7, this is just what sounded right, +7 on the right and a -5 on the left. So that's like turning up that offset, and it will change the amount of delay a little bit. So let's put those back to 0 offset. So for this song, a 1/8 note delay in this case is 222.2 milliseconds. Let's see what that sounds like. I've got the feedback at, let's match these, 44. Okay, now to get it to widen and not be mono and to make it be stereo, I'm going to offset the left from the right. That's what that feature is in the plugin. So let's just go +5 here and -5 there. Here's what that sounds like. So that's how we can get that widespread. That's the offset. Now you could unsync this from the session tempo, and you could manually go up a little bit with this one and down a little bit with this one and vice versa. But that's what's kind of cool about this mod delay that comes with Pro Tools is the groove feature. And that's exactly what it's used for. Okay, let's go to the throw delay. It's the same delay, only I've got it on a quarter note, and it's got, here, let's match these again. It's got the same feedback, 44, sure. And it's just a different type of delay. And the tape and the throw on the CLA Epic are really both just normal delays, but you can do a different low pass filter on this one if you want. So here's the, let's mute the tape. Here's the throw. That's what that looks like, no big deal. Okay, let's hear the slap, which, guess what, is a mod delay 3. I've got it at 66 milliseconds. And that should be 100% wet. So this will be a mono slap because we've got no groove difference here. and a much smaller feedback, just 15%. Here's what that sounds like. And moving right along, the crowd. Now, he's calling the crowd, or Waves is calling the crowd, a delay, but it's such short delays that it really is a reverb. And so I used this studio reverb because I got a similar sound. It's in the studio mode. Just listen. Okay, that's what that sounds like. Now for the plate and the room and the hall, I used the space plugin. Again, this comes with Pro Tools, so it's quote unquote free. I brought up a medium plate for the plate. For the room, I'm using the great room wide in the rear of the room. And for the hall, I'm using the, I don't even know how to say that, a Village Hall. Then for the space, it's more meant to be like a non-linear reverb, so I'm just using Deverb, which comes with Pro Tools, and it's in non-linear mode. This is what that sounds like. And we'll go with the hall. Real big, real long, nice and dark. Then we'll go with the room. Okay. And lastly, the plate. Okay, so are you digging what I'm putting down so far? The plugin is working. So we've got all these aux tracks and the files. So let's mess with, I mean, as far as drums go, you're probably not going to use any delays. But I want to show you how you can use these to blend the different reverbs. So let's do that. I'm just going to kind of blend them a little bit. So you can imagine all the different sounds you can get from that, and you can mute and unmute and, you know, and all that. Now let's say I was using this and I wanted to send something else to the plate, but not the drums. Well, then I would have to come over here and I would have to what is it, 9 and 10? Yeah, I'd have to bypass the send to 9 and 10. So now when I play the drums, it won't even be sending to the plate. And then of course, command click it. Now it's active again, and it'll send to the plate. Okay, that's drums. Let's see what we can do with this guitar. Let's see what kind of stuff we can get. We'll start with everything muted. Here's what the guitar sounds like. Okay, and I'm just going to, let's throw on everything under the sun and let's see what happens. It's probably going to sound awful. Boy, that did sound awful. All right, I'm going to reset that and let's not listen. So here is the guitar with just our eighth note tape. Okay, here's with the quarter note throw. And the slap. And then the crowd. Okay, the plate. I think you get the idea. So let's now, before we get to the saxophone, I want to show you then how you would use this setup so that you can send the delays to the reverb, and whether or not you want that also coming out the main mix or just being sent to the main reverb. Those are all things that you can do with the plugin. So quite simply, it would be, you can turn on, so let's say we want this eighth note to go to the room. So I'm gonna command click the 11 and 12 bus send, which is what's going to the room, on the tape. So now we're gonna hear guitar with tape delay and with the room, and we're gonna be sending the tape delay to the room as well. And then we'll try a different way. So the other option would be to right click this guy and make it pre-fader. Then we're going to mute the tape delay, and now we're going to be sending, because we're still sending to everything from the guitar, we're sending it to the tape delay and to the room reverb, but we're not going to hear the tape delay out the main mix. We're only going to hear the tape delay being sent to the room reverb. So that's what this sounds like. It's subtle, but I guess you'll have to trust me it's working properly. Let's see what that does. I think it's a little bit better suited to show you that with the drums. So I'm going to, should be the same thing. Let's see, drums with tape. Okay, drums with room and tape. Now, because that tape is being sent pre-fader to the room, if we mute the tape, we're only going to hear wet delay repeats. Make sense? So that's how you would do that. You'd have to go pre-fader with that so that you can then mute the tape delay return so that it's still being sent to the reverb. And then last, let's just listen to a little saxophone, see what kind of thing we can do here. So there it is. That's the CLA way, the CLA Epic way of doing it in Pro Tools. But look, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stereo aux tracks. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plugins. Then you've got all these sends you got to do. As soon as I were to add a new track and I want to be able to send it to that, I've got to put all 8 of these bus sends on that track, which you can option click and drag. You know, it's not the end of the world, but I kind of wanted to show you what it would take to just simply go back to, let's bring up our snare verb. This is from my template, again, that now I've got the CLA Epic. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try having the Epic be my go-to drum reverb. I might even try it as my go-to vocal reverb, but all I have to do with this guy is send one send, and I have all that routing. I've got my mutes, my solos, right? So this emulates exactly what you're seeing right next to it. Only you can do even more tweaking. Of course, you can do mod. You can do that on the mod delay too. You can add modulation, depth, and rate. You can do that as well. It starts to get funky. But the point is, now if you're going to put this in an aux track, on an aux track, then of course you're going to want it 100% wet. If you're going to put the CLA Epic on a direct channel, then you're going to want to put it at whatever mix sounds right. So let's do that. Let's put the CLA Epic on this. Let's do it on the drums. And let's see what we get. Everything else is muted. Oops. Sorry, Mr. Saxman. Let's go quarter note on this. No, eighth note. That's what we had on the other one. And then we can bring up that offset. And we can send it to the room by doing the B button. And then if we wanted to only go to the B, we click the output off. So you can see how much faster it is to just have one plugin up. Now, I don't know, you're gonna have to tell me in the comments, is this a stupid exercise? I don't think so. I think it's worth knowing what it would take. This is all what's happening just via routing underneath the hood of the CLA Epic. Not to mention, who knows what algorithms they're using for the actual, reverb and whatnot and delays. So tell me what you think. Leave a comment. If you liked this video, subscribe to this channel. I do videos like this all the time, and I really like to dive in deep. And this is one way of getting that CLA Epic sound and vibe and routing style, but without having to buy the plugin. But really, you have to ask yourself, is whatever they're charging for the plugin, I mean, I think I got it for, seriously, what did I get it for? 30 bucks or 60 bucks? I can't remember what it was. On the opening day, I'm like, well, that makes too much sense. I've always, by the way, sent my delay returns to the reverb, because if I've got reverb on my voice and I've got delay on my voice, I want the repeats of the delay to have the same reverb that the initial vocal had. That just makes sense. Well, for some, that's like, oh man, I never thought about that, you know, and Chris is kind of making a big deal out of it. I guess I've just always done that as well. Maybe it's a common sense thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe someone taught me and I just don't remember. But that just seemed to make sense to me. But you can do that with the CLA Epic really easily. So let me know. I think I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make a template out of this right here, and I'll include the drums and the guitar and the saxophone. And I'm gonna kind of just save this as a session. I'm gonna make it be available for download on the website. So be sure to go to sidotisound.com and you can download this template and try it for yourself. Now, be careful if you're using the space plugin that's going to be in that template. You have to make sure that you've got all the impulse responses downloaded. So I'm not sure I can help you with that, but good luck to you. Go to sidotisound.com to the shop to be able to download this template, if you will. And other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know, again, let me know in the comments if you did. Let me know if there's any other topics that you'd like to discuss, and I'd be happy to do that. All right, guys, so you just have to answer the question. Do you need the CLA Epic, or do you want to go this route? I think it's pretty obvious that the CLA Epic is the way to go, but for those who are just anti-waves, anti-chrysalid algae, and you just don't even want to have anything on your screen, whatever, I get it. I know some people like that. This is a way that you can get the same results, but you can throw your own flavor at it when it comes to what delays and what reverbs you're using. This is just to show you how it can be done in Pro Tools. You can do it the same in Logic, by the way, too. The plugins may or may not be different depending on what you've got, but the routing would be the same. So I hope this video helped. I hope it shed some light on how all this is happening under the hood with the CLA Epic, and I will see you on the next video.